to date, it was the worst day of my life. To like, it was the worst day of my life.
It was.
Welcome back to our channel. All those who are new here, welcome to At We Are a Couple. So today we just want to do a tribute to my mother in grace with my actual mother. Welcome, mommy, to our channel.
It's a pleasure to be on this channel of yours.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with us and giving us your time.
Oh, the pleasure is mine.
This is Bishop Dr. Akikimoye. Okay, so guys, we're just gonna do a tribute to my mother in grace. We're gonna understand where they met with my mother, and then continue just to discuss her life and how it impacted each one of us. And because of that, then my husband's mother. Okay, talk about your mother.
Yes, we are remembering her today because it's August 10, which is her birthday, and she passed on and went to be with the Lord. We call it promoted to glory, together with my brother Paul, 3 years ago in 2017, and we just want to remember how she was, even in my family's life, also as a spiritual mentor to many, and also the impact she had with the Muyus and the church here in Kenya.
Amen. Okay, so mommy, how did you meet?
Well, in 1995, we had just formed a Pastors Fellowship, Bishops and Pastors Fellowship of Kenya. We were meeting at our church every Tuesday. So she happened to be brought by a friend of mine who had known earlier, Engineer Jericho. She was a wife of Dr. Alipa, actually the name is Alipa, who was the president of the World Vision Africa. So they brought their pastor, Dr. Prophet Ocampo, and his wife to be speakers in that meeting.
Oh wow, so it was a conference.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so they came for a conference and then you met, and so how did you hit it off so quick?
Well, actually, after when we were having, I used to have a cup of tea after the fellowship. So at that time when we were fellowshipping, they invited me, can you come for lunch? So I went, I had lunch with them. From there, we just like fell in love, just like on first sight. Me and mom. She used to call me Mama, and then I call her Mom. Yes, so that's how we started our fellowship together. The rest is history.
Then you became best friends. And the funny thing is they're so alike that my husband and I, we feel like we were brought up like with the same mother, because the exact same rules in their home set by his mom were the exact same rules set in our home by my mother. I mean, they're in two different worlds, different countries, but yet they're exactly the same, like copy paste, you know. And so our childhoods are exactly the same. It's so funny. Anyway, so how was your friendship and how she impacted your life? Because today we're just doing her tribute and all that.
You know, as I got to know her, I found that this was an amazing woman, one of her kind. Politically, she was so prophetic. She had precise words for nations, and especially in Kenya, because those were troubled times. She had prophetic words, and even she made the president. And so she was so much on prophetically, politically. Then in economics, she was just a business secure. She could just come up with businesses every morning with a business idea, things how to make money. She just had it. Then spiritually, she was a worshiper. She loved the Lord. Even her love for the Father made her also flow. You could see the flow of the Father's love in her life, how she touched people's lives, and especially mine. She's one person who could, sometimes I would say, Mom, you're so well dressed, you look so nice, because she was so classic in the way she was dressed. She would just say, okay, here I have my pals. Okay, what do you want here? you know, until I just started commenting, Mom, I'm just commenting, you look good. She said, no, I want you to look good. So all my pearls, my jewels, my bracelets, are just full of her. What she gave me as presents, she was just a giver. She could sacrifice anything and go anywhere. I never met such a person. She was just one of a kind.
Wow, she
I'm
truly
so
is.
blessed to have had such a person in my life.
So
I miss her a lot.
is that friendship what impacted you to want me to be with her son? Oh, did you like someone? Oh, wow, what was it?
Actually, we had a covenant in one of those days with the family of Dr. Halipa, their family, and ours. So we used to, she used to tell us, as our children grow up, I know we must seal this covenant with a marriage. I said, oh God, have mercy. No way. My children,
I know.
they can make it, they can't. They are really African. Nobody can tell them what to do. So anyway, years passed and our children grew. Actually, I never remembered you. You're one of those kids I never saw.
You're really
How many were you when you were around here? You were
We were
12.
all of us here.
You're always here,
How
yeah.
old were you?
Yeah.
2006?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So most of your
17?
siblings, were very close.
Yes, they
Yeah,
were
your
active.
sisters and-
Oh,
Yes,
So,
I did not live in
yeah. I guess
their
because
house.
he's a middle child,
Yes.
there are 12 children, then he's
Yeah.
number 6.
And also I was helping out, taking mom everywhere,
Yeah.
driving her around,
Yeah.
and going on missions. I wasn't so much sitting or staying
yeah.
in the church.
Oh, so you're a true missionary. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I would go there. So that's where I was. I was always being sent everywhere.
Yeah.
You're
So
very
maybe that's
shy.
why you were seeing me.
Yes, how you always say, people say all Africans look alike, and we also say all Asians or Europeans
Yes.
look alike.
As a group, you couldn't
That's a
distinguish me.
Yes. Especially when you're always in small boy, you are following each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's really.
Well, so in 2017, on March 2nd, we woke up to a call. And that morning, his phone was ringing, and I kept on telling him, put your phone on silent when we go to sleep. And his phone kept on ringing, and so I finally took it. I'm like, hello, and so funny enough, it was Halipa on the phone, Tita Halipa, as I call her. And so she was like, what happened? What happened? And I'm like, what do you mean, what happened? What happened? and so she quickly realized we didn't know, and so she hung up the phone. And so we quickly I wake him up, and he goes to the group chat, and then the family group chat, and we start to see the messages flowing in that there was a road accident that had happened with his brother and your mother, right? Okay, take it from there.
So when we were hearing her frantic on the phone, we didn't understand what it was because it was in the middle of the night. It was close to dawn, but of course we had just woken up to someone who was crying, really crying hard, and at the end of it she said, "Mom." So that baffled us. We didn't know what it was because we were still half awake and half asleep. But going through the group chat, and for sure my family was talking about an accident happening. And so when I go through the family chat, I for sure see that my family were talking about this road accident, and they were also rushing to go to the site. This accident happened in the Philippines, and they were rushing to go there. And going through the chat, for sure information was coming in, and then the word that really told me that this was serious was the word autopsy. You don't use that word for anyone who's alive. So that really shook us to the core. We woke the whole house up, and we barely got dressed properly. We rushed to my brother's place, who also happens to live here in Nairobi with his family. And we woke him up. It was in the middle of the night, almost morning, almost dawn. And I broke it down to him with no filter. That was my fault. So that really stunned him. He was speechless for a long time. He had to excuse himself to go to be by himself and just cry. It was like a statue for like 5 minutes. He couldn't move at all, barely breathing. I don't remember. I don't think I cried that time because it was just.
You were still in a state of shock.
Yes.
I remember I was the one who was like, I could not even contain myself, so I quickly, of course, called my mother, and she had traveled to Luyaland for some missions there, and so we broke it down to her. And what happened to you when you were?
Oh my God, I think that was the worst moment in my life ever, because here she was. We were counting days for her coming.
Yeah, she was coming to Kenya.
And she already had a ticket.
Anyway, I had those news and I was screaming. My husband was telling me what? I couldn't even talk. I was in the bishop's house. They also ran to see what was happening. I told them that, well, we have lost one of our best friends. Has been promoted to glory. I was saying, no, Lord, no. If ever I needed a miracle, if you needed really fulfill your promises of resurrection, why have you taken her? So I was really in shock, and I had other dates in my life, but this one.
Your parents had died.
My parents had died, my brother had died.
Yeah, your brother died.
But I couldn't compare this one too. And besides, I had just also been with them, especially with Paul. I had some months before spent some time also with Paul.
Paul is his younger
His
brother.
brother who died at the same time. And he had taken me to churches. When I tell him I want to go to church, he said, let's go. If I had anything to ask about their theological beliefs, it is Paul who was expounding to me the revelations of the prophetic. Because these people were so prophetic. At that time we were talking about the third wave of wealth. So now to see these people, I had been so much close to spend more time with them in the Philippines several times, that they are no more. Even I was saying, how am I ever going back to Philippines with that mom? No, Philippines without mom is nothing.
So,
But God knows how to comfort his people. You know.
well, for me, like I said, I was 7 months pregnant, and for sure, like she said, for me too, it was the worst day of my life. Like, I was shook to the core. I immediately got labor pains, and I was 7 months pregnant. The funny thing about that pregnancy is that it's actually his mom who had spoken it forth, because she was like, you're going to give me a baby boy next, Liz. I'm like, oh, Mom, let me rest, because my daughter is still 1 year old. She's like, no, it's time for a baby boy. And I'm like, okay. So she flew us to an island, and August 10th of 2016, which was her last birthday here on earth, we spent it on mission, going to give relief food to typhoon-stricken islands. And so that's how she wanted to spend her birthday, and we happened to be with her and his brother also, and his father, and we had a wonderful time, and we spent it in a small island, really small island, and those people had really been straight. They're so grateful for all the food that we brought, and that's how she spent her birthday. And when we came back from that island, there was a storm. And Mom was just singing through the storm, like literally. I was scared, like our boat was
Yeah, it was not very big, but the
was
storm
not
was
big.
so strong,
Like,
and
if
the waves were big.
those were big waves, my friend.
If you were not saved that
Hey,
day,
yeah,
you
yeah.
would be saved.
And she's singing, when the oceans rise and thunders roll. I'm telling you, up to date, that song just brings back memories of Mom. And so that's how we spent. And when we came back, she's like, okay, Lee, it's time for my baby boy. And she took our baby girl away from us and just left us to have some days alone. And for sure, we conceived our baby boy. as real Paul. So I was pregnant with him at that time, 7 months pregnant.
When we heard about the accident.
When we heard about the accident, and I could not be, you're mourning, you're like this. It was such a pathetic day. Like, I cannot tell you how that
You actually went into
impacted me.
labor. They had
Yes,
to take her to the
yes.
hospital
Yeah.
because she was grieving so much more than I did. Me, I was.
You were still in shock.
Yeah,
He was
don't
in
think
a
I
state
cried.
of shock.
I couldn't. I'm still, coming to terms with it. But Liz and the whole family, mom and her sister Esther, the whole family, extended family, they were just in pure mourning, just crying, to the point that she went into labor. The baby was coming out because her system, her body, her emotion, her mental faculties were just down. And so they took her to the hospital, and the doctor said, yes, you're giving birth. They even injected
Yes,
that
they prepared the
chemical
delivery ward.
to prepare the baby's lungs, which was very premature, 7 months at that time, to come out for birth. So, of course, we interceded, we prayed, we asked the church in the Philippines I asked all of them, the pastors there, to be in one prayer, and for sure God answered prayer to stop that premature birth. So she went home. But that was a level of mourning that the family here in Kenya went through for my mom.
Because she impacted our lives, and she was such. I wouldn't say she was my mother-in-law. Like I said, she was my mother in grace. As my mother loves me, she loved me. She really did love me. And I cannot explain to you, like in our other vlogs, like I said, I walked down the aisle to my mother-in-law. I walked down there like I was saying yes to her, and here she is. She's gone.
Yeah.
She's gone.
Yeah,
And she was so healthy.
She was an embodiment of love, the love of God. And from every person who met with her, she would leave an impact, even with strangers. I could watch her walk out in the malls, anywhere in the church, saying something to everybody. But especially, I can say that she's one of those persons who loved me unconditionally. And I thank God, really thank God, for that special gift He gave us to impact our lives. I'll never, every time I think about her, I just cry myself and then encourage myself in the Lord and know that one day we'll meet over yonder. That's my comfort. The other way really she impacted me is her love for life. That lady just loved life. She loved celebrating life. I realized that we Africans, we really exist. We don't enjoy life. But she taught me how to live life, to relax, go out and enjoy nature, go out and enjoy your family, have time together, than being routine, work, church, or place, where you're supposed to go without enjoying. So, really. But he has taught me how to live life. I enjoy every moment of it. Enjoy every day. Enjoy what you're eating. Eat for purpose.
So we're just here to say we loved our mother. We loved her and we miss her so much. And she's engraved in our hearts and she'll forever be with us. Funny enough, my daughter really looks like her. So she reminds us of her.
Every child of yours has got just a
really?
signature of a dimple. Yeah, you see mom. And,
Yeah, actually when I was pregnant with my firstborn, because she was around, I kept on wanting to see her pictures. I'm craving to see my mother-in-law.
But that is strange, and most people hate their mother-in-law.
I know, most people hate their mother-in-laws. The most bitter things are called mother-in-law.
Yes, yeah.
That was not me.
I'm also blessed because my mother-in-law is my best mom. She's now my mom because my mom is now in heaven, so she's my mom now. Yeah.
Well, you are not hard to love, but just...
My mother loves this guy so much. Like,
so she gave me the best gift. This is the best guy.
oh, the best gift she gave you was her son.
Yes.
Thank you, Mom.
Yeah. And then I made her promise. Well, if I give you my baby girl, your son has to move to Africa. I said, just have him. I said, Mom, you are something else. You know?
So that's why I'm here.
This guy was planted
It
here.
was planted that he will be our seed for Africa mission.
He's a great missionary. Anyway, so we're just bringing this to a wrap. Thank you so much for enjoying our memories with her. We have beautiful memories with her. So we've just enjoyed all our time with her, and we miss her so much. And the memories keep on, and the memories live on. And happy birthday, Mom in heaven. We love you so much.
As part of the cloud of witnesses who are just looking at us,
Yes.
just cheering us on. Come on, girl, you can make it.
Yes.
So, yes, Mom.
We love you, and the beauty about dying in Christ is that
Yes.
you get to continue living in eternity. And so just take this chance. If you're not saved, you know, eternity is real. Like, Mom was the healthiest person I know. Like, she was never in a hospital unless she was giving birth. And
Not even a sneeze, my
yes,
friend.
I've never had a sneeze, never had a cough, never heard her say she has a headache. She was that healthy. And even his brother, your brother, right, he was also so very healthy. But one morning we woke up and they were normal. But eternity, we know they're there. We know they're dancing with the angels. We know they're there. And so just take time to think about your life. Like, what if it ended today?